Hey folks, so today I'd like to talk about two things, being perfect and being meek. In Greek, being meek in the original Greek text, it does mean being humble. So if you ever heard of the term, the meek shall inherit the earth, what this means is the meek, the humble, shall become grounded. Inherit the earth, and this term means grounded, balanced. But what is the meek? Well, there's two ways of becoming meek, right? That is the false way and the true way. So the false way is for somebody to try to make you feel guilty for not being meek, where it's like you were born and then you're meek. So if you're not meek, then there's something wrong with you. Well, the problem is that these people in religion, if they're religious fanatic people, they're telling you this, and it says in the Bible, the meek shall inherit the earth, and you're not meek, and you should be meek, and what's wrong with you and all this, and you're sinning if you're not meek and all that. That's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. Because meekness comes with maturity. You going from a child to an adolescent to an adult. It comes with maturity. And how does it come with maturity? Well, in order for it to be meek, you got to get out of the child thinking, the child aggressiveness in your head, the logic, the power struggle. And by somebody telling you that you should be meek is somebody who's not meek, obviously, because they see themselves as higher than you are. Okay, and so they obviously are not meek themselves by telling you this and trying to make you meek. In fact, if you see them as meek, they are putting on an act. It's all an act. They're willing themselves to be meek, and willing yourself to be something. You cannot become that something if all you're doing is willing yourself to become that. Okay, so in order to be meek, you have to go through life's experiences. And so you can't be afraid to become vulnerable. And then as you become vulnerable and things happen, you can either become embarrassed for you not being perfect in the situation, or you can say, I'm human, and go into it being human, accepting yourself as human. When we accept ourselves as human, then we are able to, maybe at first feel embarrassed, maybe at first feel a little guilty, but then see yourself as, or ask yourself, why do you feel this way? Is it because you were raised into feeling guilty, feeling embarrassed for these things? The more you accept yourself as human and you understand what that means, the more you realize that when that comes, that embarrassment and the sense of lack of perfection, you'll only be dwelling in it for maybe half a second or a second, and then just move on, reminding yourself, oh, wait a minute, this is what human beings do. And I am human, as is everybody else, including that person who's trying to tell you that you need to be meek. We are all human. And by accepting yourself as that, then we're all put on a level playing field. There's nobody further up or further below than any of us. Maturity is a different story. Yes, there are people who are more mature than others, who are more in touch with their feelings, who have the wisdom through experience. That's true. Okay, that's true. But the maturity does not make us worthy of being more than anybody else. Okay, so that's meek. So when you say meek shall inherit the earth, these are people who have gone through past the childhood stage into the adolescent, where you feel your feelings, you become in touch with your feelings, and you accept them as fine and accept yourself as fine. And then you are able to stay balanced through adversity. And this is what makes you feel humble and meek, grateful that you were able to do that, and calm, being calm through it, and doing what you need to do to get through adversity in a manner that is human and humane. Okay, so when it says meek shall inherit the earth, it means the meek will become balanced and grounded in the spirit that was in them, in the spirit that is in them. Okay, perfection. All right, so what is this thing about perfection? Well, in religion, they may say if you're not being perfect, then you are sinning. And because none of us are perfect when it comes compared to God, then we are all sinners. That is a sick and mentally ill way of defining people. That is mentally ill. That's illness. No. In the Greek, when you understand in the Greek text what perfection means, you'll be actually surprised. Perfection means becoming whole, a complete person, with logic and feeling, and being in touch with both of them, mental intelligence and emotional intelligence. And only by doing that, and again, by learning and becoming meek in the spirit, by accepting yourself human, then, only then, can you become a true adult, a true self, and feel whole within. All right, feel complete as one in yourself, as a complete person, as feeling whole. Okay, and that is what perfection is in the Greek text. That's perfection. Perfection is only comes after refining yourself. Refining. And so how does this happen? Well, if you still have in your mind as you're growing up, and you still have this thing about being perfect and having to be perfect, the more you accept yourself human, the more, again, that perfection, that feeling of lack of perfection may come into your brain, but only stay there for a second or so. And then say, wait a minute, I'm human. This will calm you down. This will help you understand that you do not need to be perfect in anybody's eyes, because everybody's equal to each other. Nobody's higher or lower than one another. And you can go forward into saying, well, you know what? The thing is that in this situation, yeah, for instance, playing violin, I did not play violin very well, but it was only my first chance, or it was I've only been doing it for only just a little while. So you have the balance, the meekness to say, you know what? Let's go ahead and refine my abilities to play the violin well, to the point where I want it to sound really, really good. This being refined is the same thing with us. Once we accept ourselves human, we refine ourselves in a matter of respect of who we are and respect of other people. And because of the gratitude of having gone through adversity in a spirit of calmness and wellness, that we are able to allow ourselves to be refined without feeling guilty or having a lack of perfection. And remember, it's perfection is only until you start feeling whole within yourself. You feel like, hey, this is good enough. Playing the violin, this is where I wanted to be. I don't need to be a virtuoso. I just wanted to play the violin well so that I could enjoy it. Okay? There's your perfection. There's your whole. Everybody has different levels of where they want to be. You do not have to be the greatest violin ever. Only the violinist that you wanted to be to make yourself happy. Okay? That's perfection. And then when you say, I'm perfect in that way for me, then you're free to go ahead and produce it for others and for yourself, and to show it out in the world, okay, of who you are, and being confident that that is all that you wanted, and be confident in that. Okay, confidence is where the whole is. Confidence is where the completeness is. Confidence is where the perfection is. Okay, so those are the two things I wanted to talk about: perfection and Meek. And I hope you got a lot from this video. And I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey, it's me again. Just wanted you to know that I primarily make videos from questions that you may have in the comments. So if you have any questions that you would like an answer, I will try to answer it through a video. So ask questions and I will make videos. Okay. Other than that, I'll make a video from time to time on something that I feel important, that I feel inspired to make a video on. All right. So again, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.